Hi everyone, this is Miss Branham and welcome to your first video mini lesson. We're going to go ahead and get started with what is geography. You're taking a geography class, so it's probably really important that your very first lesson is answering that question of what exactly is geography. So we're going to go through these slides. We're going to talk about what it is and some of the basics so you have an idea for when we really get started. Just the first thing too is just something for fun. I like to put these in my slides and things, but I talk about what the national day is. And today, for Friday, it is National Power Rangers Day. So happy National Power Rangers Day. But how is this going to work? So I'm going to do the video mini lesson like we talked about in our previous classes, and then you'll have step-by-step exactly what you need to follow. But it's really important that you're following along and paying attention because information from any of the things that you do in class can appear on any of your assessments. So it's really important that you're paying attention to everything that we do and that you're assigned. So let's go ahead and get started. What is geography? And that's a really good question. But first, we're going to think about Frankfurt. What does the land look like in Frankfurt? Are there tall mountains nearby, or is the land so flat that you can see for miles? Is the ground covered with bright green grass and a lot of trees, or is it kind of sandy and desert-like and we don't really have a lot of trees and stuff like that? And think about the weather. What is it like? Does it get really hot in the summer? Do you see snow every winter? How much does it rain, or does it rain at all? Do tornadoes ever strike? Any of those things with the weather. And finally, we're going to think about the people who live in Frankfurt. Do they mostly live in apartments or houses? Do most people own cars, or do they get around town by buses or train? What kind of jobs do adults do in their town? And were most of the people who live here, were they born here, or did they move here later on? And I know some of these questions might seem random. However, when you answer these questions, you are actually describing the geography of Frankfurt. You are being a geographer when you answer those questions. So, what is geography? Geography is the study of the world, its people, and its landscapes. It's all of those three things together. It's a science when it's studying the Earth's surface, the atmosphere, and when we're looking at all of the different interactions that happen between the people and plants and animals on the Earth and how they interact with everything else. It informs us about the planet and the world that we live in. When we look at geography, we're looking at different tools that are used. We're looking at continents and oceans and other landforms and bodies of water that are part of all of those things. We're looking at the Earth and its different regions. And we're looking how all of these things influence the people and how the people influence the Earth. So geography is both a science and a social science. When it's a science, it's because scientists tend to ask big questions. They typically have a process that they follow called the scientific method, where they come up with a hypothesis or an idea that they want to test. They analyze certain data, they do experiments, they collect all the data from their experiments and what they see, and then they come up with a conclusion about their first big idea. Geographers do those same things. When they're doing geography as a science, they're collecting data and running experiments and trying to figure out how the world works and looking at all of these different sources that they have that shows that. And they're collecting all of this data from all over the world or from different regions to really compare and see how things are working out. And when they do this, geographers are like a scientist. And when geography is a social science, it's because geography can also focus on people and the relationships they have with each other and the earth. And a social science is just that. It's a science that focuses on people. So when geographers study people's lives and how they work or where they live, how they build their homes, all these different things, they are studying the people. And so they're making geography a social science. So geography has two different branches, and I know you've probably heard of the branches of government. These are the branches of geography. So you have physical geography and human geography. And I'm not going to go super in depth with these right now because you are actually going to learn about these in your next lesson. So just know that there are two branches of geography. One is physical and one is human. Just some more vocab that you need to know. A geographer is the title of the person who studies geography. Just like a historian studies history and a scientist studies science, a geographer studies geography. It's their expertise. They are an expert in this. So they studied the geography, the environment, and the people. And this is a person who works with different tools. So they're working with maps, they're working with satellites, and all these other cool things to look at the earth. They are looking at the different people and how they're interacting with the earth and how they interact with each other. They look at things like natural disasters or natural events that are happening and seeing why they happen, how it affected the people, how it affected the earth, what can be done to change what happened. And they're trying to answer the big questions about the world around them. So why do we need geography? Geography really allows us to see the interconnections between the people and the places around the world. And interconnections are the connections that kind of overlap or intertwine, how everything is connected with one another and different things all over the world. They follow those connections and see how they work. And geography really allows us to understand why those connections are present and how they are present and how they kind of influence other things. Through geography, we have a better understanding of the big questions that you normally ask in like language arts class. So the who, what, when, where, why, how questions. Geography allows us to apply those to natural events or things that are happening with different countries. It lets us see why those things are happening or how they came to be, all of those different things. And it's kind of asking those questions about the physical earth and how we are working on it. So that's the end of your mini video lesson for today. After this, you need to go back through these slides. You will have access to them on Google Classroom, but you need to make sure that you go back through them just to make sure you're getting like the definitions correct and all of that. And then there are some supplemental materials on there that you can look at. Hopefully they'll help you with some better understandings of things. And then you have an exit ticket for today. And the exit ticket can have questions from any of the materials that you have for today. So make sure you go back through everything. But that's it. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out and I will try to help as best as I can. But otherwise, have a great day, everybody.